This next video on the AFG 31052 is about creating test pulses for verification of partial discharge test apparatus. And on the left here on the oscilloscope I've got a test pattern that has been captured from some test apparatus, and you can see here it's made up of two elements. First element that's immediately obvious is the stepped 50 Hz sine wave, but along that sine wave there are small sections of pulses that are being displayed, which I can hopefully show you. Okay, and here you see here this is a signal that's going along here for the 50 Hz reference, but here are the PD pulses that are being produced. And if I can try and zoom in a bit more, see what happens. And you can see here that's the pulse starting to be created. There you go. So that's an example of a partial discharge pulse there that's come from the test apparatus. So it's this overall waveform that I want to try and produce. That means I can then vary the test pulses and get different responses, test the responses from the partial discharge test apparatus. So we'll move over and concentrate on the AFG 31052 now. So the first element that I need to do is to create partial discharge pulse, because I can obviously create a 50 Hz reference waveform out of one of these channels very easily. To get the partial discharge pulse, I am going to move to the ArbBuilder, which is back off the main screen. There's the ArbBuilder function there. I can create a new waveform, and this is how I've been setting them up. I generally leave a lot of the settings alone and I just adjust them with the actual output of the AFG 31052 as opposed to trying to set them up in here. What I do is change this total points down here down to 250 points, and that gives me a nice length for a partial discharge pulse. So click OK, and then I've got the draw option here, and I can either draw through freehand or point would probably be the ones most applicable to me. The horizontal and the vertical are obviously much straighter lines, which is not what I'm after. Go for a point draw on this one, and I can just place points around here. So there's one partial discharge pulse, and I can create a smaller one, say behind here. And you see a large pulse there and a small pulse there. What's actually happened here is I've got a bend in there that I really didn't want, so I can drag him up, put some more points in there. So when I've got this and I want to change these a little bit more, obviously minus 100 there, what I can do is go to the table, so between 120 and 140. If I change these both to 0, let's see if we get a straight line then. Yeah, let me get a bit better straight line then. So that's an example of some partial discharge pulses drawn freehand. I then need to, there we go, come on. Okay, so obviously go to File now, and I can save as, and we'll call him, so it gives me call him PosWave, and we can save him. Now partial discharge pulses come in positive and negative, so to invert this, the easiest way is to go to the edit menu, and then I can invert that, and then I've got an immediate negative pulse, and I go File, save as that, and I need to place that as neg. And there's my two partial discharge pulses created. For the purpose of the program as well, I do have a one already created, which is a straight line. Loading up, so this is just a straight line, so this gives me my gaps in between partial discharge pulses and between the set trains as well. And then with these three waveforms I'll be able to create some partial discharge patterns. So close them all off.